Welcome to Unjustified, where we always cover the truth, the facts, the good, the bad, the ugly, on an unbiased and sometimes very unpopular opinion. If you're not already a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe now and hit the notification bell, and that way you will receive all of our upcoming videos. Thank you so much for being here, and we do hope you enjoy today's video. Hello, everybody. How are you all doing tonight? It has been a heck of a day. Who do we have up in here? Nelly may be coming on. She should be. She wasn't feeling too well, but she was going to take her little nap, so she may wake up, but we will see. Okay, we got Diane. Welcome to Team Unjustified. Thank you so much for becoming a member. We truly appreciate the extra support to the channel. We really do. Adrian, good to see you. Mac J, always nice to see you too, sweetheart. And Mary, our OG. Dave G. We know we always got Dave G. We can depend on he's always going to be there for us. Minnie Moons, good to see you. I'm sorry, y'all, if my voice is kind of crackly, messed up, because my allergies has been kicking in pretty good. And it drives me crazy. But there's not a lot I can do about it because it's just the way I'm built. Okay, has any of you ever heard of Gloria? Like, she's a very, very huge skanker. But have any of you ever heard of this case or heard of Gloria? Because if you have, then you know why she was chosen to be one of the top skankers. No? Nobody knows? Hey, lambs. Good to see you. Mac J. Okay, Mac J knows about Gloria. She's horrific. Horrific. Just like I put in the description, this skank gives a whole new meaning to the word choose a man over your child. I'm just saying. As usual, I've got us put together some clips. You've never heard of her, Minnie Moons? Oh, honey, brace yourself. Brace yourself. As always, I put us together some clips because I like for you to be able to see it. If you have watched any of our other Skanker lives, then you know how I'll put together the clips and then we also discuss it. This is one of those cases that was pretty much open and shut once it was figured out, hence the word hidden secrets. So it was pretty much open and shut as it should have been. However, the skanker Gloria, I don't think she got near enough charge at all. Okay, so let me show you this. Tell me how precious, how damn precious is this baby? Is he not adorable? This is Kendrick Lee. He was 9 years old when I can't even say passed away, when he was taken out of the world. He's precious, right? He's autistic too. Kendrick was pretty much nonverbal. Like, he said maybe mama, just little bitty things, right? He was pretty much nonverbal. Gloria has 6 children, but she only had 4 in her custody. One of her daughters, just from the way I've understood it through my research, disappeared. Okay, and one of them was taken by the paternal grandmother. Like she said, and you're going to hear this in the clips because the paternal grandmother speaks. But she was spending the night at the paternal grandmother's house with the kids. And this daughter was like, I don't know, just born, like a couple of weeks old, and they were sleeping in the floor. And the baby was just crying and crying and crying, and she would just throw it over to the side. And the paternal grandmother said, "What in this hell? No, give me that baby." And she did. She said, "Okay, if you want it, take it." And she did. And the paternal grandmother raised it. But we're not talking about the daughter here. It's the 4 kids that she had living with her, which is little Kendrick here. Kendrick being, I think it was 8 or 9 years old when he was taken out of the world. And then he had a little, at the time, his little brother was 6 or 7. And then there was a 15-year-old brother. And I believe it was 10. So there was those 4. And I see that some of you don't know this case. So like I say, just brace yourself. Just brace yourself. This is a mural that was made for little Kendrick. It's literally heartbreaking. I was going to see, I think I have a picture. You're going to see plenty of pictures in just a moment. Here they are. Here is the 2 skanks. And the boyfriend is a huge skank, too. I mean, definitely, he is shit. But the mother, I can't even relate with what this skanky witch did. Okay, so as always, I got these clips. The very first one you're going to see is like right when it happened, like right when they got there and they discovered this. Okay, now I want to say one thing. This woman, Gloria, she was getting disability on 2 of her children. One being Kendrick and the other one being, I think it was the 10-year-old, because they were autistic on a level that they could get disability. That's the only way I know how to say it. She also got SNAP benefits, as well as housing. So she got everything for free, pretty much, right? Due to her children, not because of her, due to her children. Now, that is why, in my opinion, this piece of trash here was just pretty much, living off her. Neither one of them worked. They lived off of the kids' disability and their SNAP benefits and things like that. However, the kids didn't eat. Okay? You're even going to hear about on Valentine's Day, her cooking and the kids wanting something to eat and her going, nope, nope, nope. This is nope, this is Valentine's. This is our dinner, but you can definitely have some broccoli and cheese if there's any left. Okay? It's disgusting, y'all. And after you hear this and hear about Gloria, oh gosh, just brace yourself. Brace yourself. Okay, let me pull this up here. And like I say, the very first one you hear is going to be when they very first got there and they really didn't know a lot. You know how that is. Like they do this little conference thing right there at the property, reporters everywhere, and they can only tell you so much. But as it goes on into it, you're going to hear about it and just be ready. Just be ready. Okay. Hang on. Let me see. Nelly's with us. Nelly, shut up. Hey, sweetheart.
Hey, I couldn't get the link to work. Sorry, guys.
Oh, it's okay. I'm glad you're here. Are you okay? You feeling okay?
Oh, yeah, I feel great.
Okay. Well, I've already kind of briefed everybody on it, but I really hadn't told them a lot about it because it's hard to even talk about. This case. It's just
Yeah,
disgusting.
it's
Oh my God.
very disturbing, guys. Hello, everybody. It's good to be back.
Yeah, we got several up in here tonight. Lots of people always ask where you're at, but I tell they understand that you just have a very bad immune system because of all the stuff you're having to go through. So,
Yeah, but I got good news the last visit, so I'm doing better. So keep me in your prayers, guys. That's all I ask.
always, always, honey. So, I was just explaining everything to everybody and telling them about Gloria.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. And I was going to get up our timeline here. Okay, guys, are y'all ready? Are you ready?
Ready as we'll ever be.
Like, I know YouTube's gonna hate this. They're literally gonna hate this. But you know what? She needs exposed, and exposure is what she's gonna get.
Amen to that.
She deserves every damn minute of it.
Sad
Okay.
thing is this happened close to my hometown.
Yes,
So,
it wasn't far from Nelly. And when you think about that, Nelly, it's that much worse, isn't it? Knowing that something like that was happening. You could have even passed these guys in Walmart because they were always going out on these kids' dime. Um,
yep.
you could have walked by them in a grocery store, Walmart, the mall, which they went to quite often. These people are disgusting. And I'm telling you, I can't even, I know watching this, even though when I put it together, her name is Gloria Williams Shar. Even when I was putting these clips together, and even though I knew about the case, I was getting pissed off all over again.
I know I was getting pissed when I was refreshing over it earlier. I was like, oh my God, no.
Yes.
A
Yes.
year. A year. Those poor kids lived like that for a year.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, I haven't really put much out there yet. I was just gonna let them pick it up in the clips, and then after the clips, gonna talk about it. It's just hard to talk about, but we will talk about it after the clips. But God,
Sounds great. Well, hello, everybody. Sorry I'm late, but I am so glad to be back.
no, you're not late. We just now started. So you ain't late. Okay, well, let me get this skank going here. All right, y'all, here we go. Brace yourself and
very horrific situation out here, very tragic. Been in this business for a long time, and I had never heard a scenario like this. It really caught me by surprise. What we have right here is we have an apartment unit. It appears to be where three juveniles were left abandoned pretty much. I'm told they range in ages from 15, 10, and 7 years old. They've been here for an extended period of time. At the same time, we also have the skeletal remains of what appears to be a juvenile. It appears to have been there for also an extended period of time. And other than that, right now, it's just very preliminary information. We're trying to identify next of kin to determine exactly what's happened and how we got to this point. But again, a very horrific set of circumstances.
How did you guys get called here?
We received basically information for a welfare check. I'll see what information our detectives want us to put out other than us. We got information about this particular unit, and when they arrived, they discovered three juveniles just at plain view. It appears they're living in pretty deplorable conditions.
When it comes to the parents, where does your investigation stand on that?
Very early right now. That's why we'd like to identify who are the parents, adults, next of kin are, just so we'd like to know exactly what we have here. We in our experience, it's always best to not speculate and just let the investigation take its course. But that age, it appears that they were basically fending for each other, which is very sad. Again, we have a 15-year-old, a 10 and 7, and I think the older sibling was basically doing the best he could to take care of the others. And again, the deceased one, or the skeletal remains, we believe at this point it's going to be another juvenile, possibly a sibling that passed away. And it appears the skeletal remains have been there for an extended period of time. So, it just connecting all the dots at this point. It seems that they were in there while the body was deteriorating. The body was not concealed to my knowledge. So I don't think the body was necessarily concealed. It was just in the apartment.
Sheriff, who made the welfare check?
Our units arrived. We don't know who actually called it in. I don't know that. So I don't know. Somebody alerted us that we need to check that apartment. Basically, what ends up being a traditional welfare check that we do. And that's when, our units just were.
Any indication that adults live there, or?
It doesn't appear, again, it appears that the children have been abandoned, as I said initially, for an extended period of time. We don't know for how long or what's exactly transpired or where the adults are in all this. We'd like to know where they're at.
Is management on scene right now, and are they cooperating? Residents say that they've been doing inspections and walking around this area the last few weeks. What's there?
That's the first I hear about them, the management doing rounds or anything for inspections. We haven't been told. We don't know if that apartment was checked or not.
The skeletal remains were there for a while. Were there reports of any stench or anything of that nature?
I mean, we'll check if there were any calls for service. I think if reports would have come in, that probably would have been something significant that would have drawn us to this apartment before. But to our reports, nothing was reported. But it appears that the remains have been there for an extended period of time. And I emphasize extended.
Are we talking about weeks or?
I would guess much longer than that. Much longer.
And just to clarify, because there's been a bunch of numbers, one skeletal remains and 3 children?
3 children are alive, and then 1 skeletal remains that were found that most likely are for a juvenile as well. We need to get in touch with family members or next of kin. Some adult must have known or had information about what was going on here because it appears these kids have been here for a while. And so we need to find out exactly what happened and get.
He's never seen anything quite like this. It all happened at this apartment complex right here. And the question really tonight is, where were these parents and how could they ever have let their children live like this? Authorities showed up to this apartment complex for a welfare check, not knowing the horrifying scene they were about to walk into.
Been in this business for a long time, and I had never heard a scenario like this.
3 kids, 15, 10, and 7 years old, found on the 3rd floor apartment, abandoned and in deplorable conditions. The skeletal remains of another kid also discovered. The sheriff says the body has been slowly deteriorating for an extended period of time. Neighbors say the apartment complex, City Park 2 at West Oaks, has been doing inspections the past month. One resident shared this email with a reminder for her apartment. We were kicked off the property by management who wouldn't answer our questions about the last time that apartment was inspected.
We're waiting to learn more about the emergency hearing for 3 children who were found abandoned inside an apartment with their dead brother's remains. We've also learned that their mother and her boyfriend have been questioned as part of the investigation and are not facing any charges at this time.
Deputies say the 9-year-old boy was likely dead for a year.
We never smell anything coming out of that apartment and never see anybody open the door as well. From time to time, we see couples with the kids come in and out, and just most likely we saw like 6 months ago, and nothing recently at all.
The Texas Department of Family and Protective Services left a notice of removal for the 3 surviving boys. CPS say they have a history with the family, but did not have any active investigations before yesterday's discovery. Today, an emergency removal court hearing is supposed to take place, but has yet to happen.
A few weeks ago, I saw a water bottle. It's like Walmart brand, sitting there for a couple of days, and all of a sudden it disappears. So, I thought probably they went on vacation or something, came back and took the water.
Neighbors say they are also stunned today to learn that deputies questioned the child's mother and her boyfriend and released them without any charges. We also know that deputies today would not comment when asked why that was. All they would say is that the case is under investigation.
And I spoke to a neighbor named Erica Chapman. She described a living situation where she thought something might be a little off, but the 15-year-old boy, she knew she didn't want him to go hungry, but she had no idea what was going on behind that apartment door. A children's playground.
He was sleeping on the side, and I asked him if he was hungry, And he said, yeah, and I brought him out some food and some drinks. Honestly, I'm disgusted. If I knew something was wrong with any of those kids, I would have took all of them.
According to the Harris County Sheriff's Office, the mother of the boys and her boyfriend were brought in for questioning, but released.
Oh, he wouldn't talk about his parents.
Erica says she didn't want to push the boy too hard with questions, hoping he would open up to her.
Because I did not want him not to come to me for food. If you're that hungry, I want him to keep coming to me. At least I know he was eating.
Yeah, really no other way to describe this than straight out of a horror movie. I spoke with two neighbors here at this apartment complex where it all happened. They tell me that they've been feeding that 15-year-old boy for up to 6 months. Now, while they knew something was off, they never imagined he would be living with two young brothers and a dead body.
A living nightmare inside this apartment. 3 young boys left abandoned in squalid conditions with their dead brother slowly decomposing. The Harris County Sheriff's Office says the 15-year-old boy called police on Sunday, saying his 9-year-old brother had been dead for a year in their apartment. The mom hasn't been back in months.
I first seen him, he was sleeping on the side over here.
Erica Chapman also lives at City Park 2 at West Oaks Apartments. She says she started feeding the 15-year-old boy 6 months ago.
I noticed his mom a few times would come and park, and he'd run down and grab like oodles, noodles, chips, and drinks and run back up.
But it wasn't enough. He was starving.
He would not eat anything that you made. You had to buy it. Like it had to be a salad that was closed from the store or a pizza. Fruits, it had to still be in a bag.
Another neighbor, Trevor Thompson, who doesn't want us showing his face, also started feeding the 15-year-old about a week ago. He says the apartment had no electricity and he saw the mother come and go, so started to offer him food. Thompson also describes him as paranoid. He was worried about getting poisoned.
But he wouldn't take cooked food. He would take fruits and snacks.
Both Thompson and Chapman didn't know the deep, twisted secrets and horror the 15-year-old was living with. Not only did he not tell them about the dead body, but his 2 young brothers, 10 and 7 years old, who deputies say were also living in that apartment.
Because I asked him, did you like the first pizza that I bought you? He said, what, the first one that we had? And that kind of made me wonder, why would he say we?
As far as the mother goes, police were able to find her and her boyfriend. They were brought in for questioning, but at this point tonight, no charges have been filed.
And we know the 3 boys are now being checked out at an area hospital. The mother and the mother's boyfriend have been located. They are now being interviewed by homicide investigators. Authorities say it all started with a phone call for help by the 15-year-old brother. The Harris County Sheriff's Office says the 15-year-old brother was the one who called them and said his 9-year-old brother had been dead for a year and was in the room next door. Authorities say the 15-year-old was found abandoned with 2 other brothers, a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old, in deplorable conditions, malnourished and with some signs of injuries.
Preliminary autopsy results showed the 9-year-old boy whose decomposed remains that were found in an abandoned A-Leaf apartment did not die naturally. Medical examiners determined homicidal violence with multiple blunt force injuries was the cause. Houston criminal defense attorney Chris Downey says the person or persons responsible could face criminally negligent homicide charges all the way up to capital murder. Downey says the other tragedy is that no sensible adult stepped up and acted sooner.
This was happening in an apartment complex where there were neighbors all around it. The nature of the modern world, perhaps we don't spend as much time or come into contact with each other as much as we should, but it's a wake-up call to all of us to pay attention.
Some breaking news right now. This is exclusive video just coming into our newsroom. The mother and boyfriend of those 3 boys found abandoned in the apartment complex with the remains of their brother now in custody. This is video from the Harris County Sheriff's Office substation on Lockwood in East Houston.
Okay, this part doesn't have, this is just a still image part of them. Are you pissed off yet? It gets worse. It gets worse. Do you understand that they literally found these skanks, brought them in, questioned them, and then released them, and didn't even until the next day. It was the next night, as you say, it's not. 2 nights later.
Everybody was livid about them letting them go.
Yeah, these 2 idiots could have literally just hauled ass, right? I don't know. Well, they kind of did. I mean, they found
And Kristen,
them,
very serious
but-
charges to share with you tonight regarding the death of that boy. His remains found in that apartment, both his mother and her apartment, turned in right here at the Harris County Jail tonight. 31-year-old Brian Coulter has been charged with murder. The boy's mother, 35-year-old Gloria Williams, has been charged with injury to a child by omission and tampering with evidence, human corpse. That corpse, Williams'
That's
son.
all she was charged with, y'all. Imagine that.
And she was present when
Gloria
he killed
Williams.
the little boy.
Good morning, Ms. Williams. Ma'am, you're charged with the third-degree felony of injury to a child by omission, the first-degree felony of injury to a child causing.
Okay, I'm going to stop it for a minute because this is where you're going to hear the prosecution. Now, remember, this is during a time where we were all still having to wear masks and, you know what I mean, and just Zooms and all this kind of thing. But you're fixing to hear prosecution read the police report and everything the kids that could talk told them happened to their little brother.
And mind you, he beat the ever-living hell out of that boy in front of the other kids.
Yeah, you're fixing to hear that because she reads it, the prosecution reads it straight from the report. So just want to stop and let you all know that this is hard to hear. So
It's very triggering. So if
it is.
we
Also,
understand if y'all want to
Yeah.
exit for a little bit and come back, but
Yeah, it's
it's
pretty
very
rough.
difficult to listen to.
Knowing that the only thing she was charged with, well, it ended up being injury to a child and tampering with evidence, the evidence being her son. I can't even with this. Okay. Just wanted to let y'all know that's what we're about to hear. So here it is.
Serious bodily injury, the second-degree felony of tampering with evidence when that evidence is a human corpse. I have looked at the alleged probable cause facts for these three charges, including the supplemental statement of facts, which I believe was supplied to the public defender's office. I do find that there is sufficient probable cause for all three of these cases to go forward.
Based on the horrific facts and circumstances of this case, which resulted in the death of a 7-year-old child. In the statement of probable cause, officers were called out to a residence in Harris County on Greencrest Drive on October the 24th of this year regarding the death of the minor complainant, who is the child of this defendant. There were 3 juvenile witnesses who are also complainants in these cases. There was a 15, 10, and 7-year-old child who are witnesses to the incident. Officers arrived, spoke with the 15-year-old child, who stated that he found his younger brother, the deceased minor complainant, in a bedroom of the residence sometime around Thanksgiving of last year, 2020. He believed this defendant would call the police, told officers that she never did so, and that she then had moved out of the apartment, leaving them in the residence with his deceased younger brother without adult supervision. He stated that they had found his younger brother approximately 1 week before Thanksgiving. He also told officers that the co-defendant, who is the boyfriend of this defendant, would lock them in a bedroom and he would hear them hitting his brothers while he was in the room with them. He stated he told this defendant about the conduct, but she ignored him, said she would talk with the co-defendant, and the 15-year-old stated, quote, that never worked. Officers also spoke with the 10-year-old complaining witness, who is the complainant in the first-degree felony serious bodily injury case, who stated that he was actually in the room when the co-defendant assaulted his deceased younger brother, striking him in the face, feet, buttocks, back, his legs, and testicles with closed fists and feet. He stated that the co-defendant then laid his brother on the floor and put a cover over him, that the defendant then came in the room to check on his younger brother, saw the body under the cover. She began crying, then made him leave the room. The 10-year-old stated that the defendant and the co-defendant then began fighting because the co-defendant had killed his younger brother. He stated that the defendant then came back another day, checked on his younger brother, and found that his body, feet, and teeth had turned into a skeleton. He stated that the co-defendant would beat him as well, hitting him on his buttocks, legs, stomach, and face, and punched him in the jaw, causing his face to be swollen. He stated when the co-defendant would drink beer and alcohol, he would get very strong. The 10-year-old also stated that his younger brother was on the floor under the cover, that his body was a skeleton, and that his hair was off. Law enforcement officers on scene observed that 10-year-old child to have extensive swelling to his face and jaw when they made contact with him on October 24th. He was transported to Texas Children's Hospital, where it was discovered that he had blunt force trauma to the face, which would require surgery because medical treatment was not sought or obtained when he was injured. During a forensic interview the following day, he disclosed that the injury had occurred when the co-defendant struck him in the face approximately 3 weeks prior, and that this defendant was aware of the injury but did not seek or obtain medical aid for him. The 7-year-old child was also interviewed, who stated that he saw it when his older brother, who is now deceased, was injured. He said he saw the co-defendant punching his brother, that his brother was lying down and the co-defendant kicked him with his feet, that his brother was not moving and the co-defendant continued to kick him and stared at his younger brother as he kicked him. He stated his younger brother's eyes were black and that he stopped blinking during the assault, that they pulled back the covers and saw that he was really dead and saw roaches everywhere on him. Officers also spoke to this defendant on October the 24th, 2021, when she was interviewed, and she stated that in November of 2020, before Thanksgiving, she had gone into the bedroom where the deceased complainant and 2 other children were at. She witnessed the co-defendant punching her now deceased son. She said she stopped him from continuing to assault him, that she entered the bedroom the next morning and found him covered with a blue blanket, that she pulled back and found him to be deceased. She confronted him, the co-defendant, who stated he was sorry that he lost it and punched him, and continued punching him until he went to sleep. The co-defendant told her that he covered him up with a blanket after he went to sleep. The defendant admitted that she knew he was deceased in November of 2020, but did not notify law enforcement at the time of his death because the co-defendant had told her not to. She was afraid that the children would be taken by Child Protective Services and that she would go to jail. Officers on scene on the 24th found the deceased and badly decomposed body of the 9-year-old complainant discovered under a blanket in the bedroom. An autopsy was conducted, and the cause of death was found to be a homicide due to homicidal violence with blunt force injury. I'm requesting those bond amounts, and I'm opposed to lower bonds as I do have concerns for the safety and protection of these surviving complainants, and do not believe that this defendant should be permitted to have any contact with these children or any children in the community.
All right, thank you, Mr.
His family says they haven't spoken with her in months.
Now, I know that was hard as hell to take in. And it really hit me in the heart the way she was of course, she was having to read exactly what the little 7-year-old said. And the way the little 7-year-old talked about the remains, right? Being a skeleton with no hair. And then this piece of trash right here, they come up and sling them some ramen noodles and water. And this bastard here, Brian, he decides it's a good idea to beat the hell out of the 9-year-old while he's there and break his jaw and just leave him. And this piece of skank trash over here is like, let's just go. Quit baiting him. Let's just go. And she just
And now
leaves
he
him
has to
to
have
it.
surgery to correct his jaw. He has had to have several painful surgeries to recorrect his jaw.
Yes. Yes. And she says the reason she didn't tell anybody that Brian killed him was because she was afraid she would lose the rest of her kids. Oh, hell no. She was afraid she would lose the money, the disability, the SNAP benefits, everything that she's taken care of this bastard with. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm telling you.
She deserved to lose all those children.
Oh, my God. Yeah. And can you believe she's only charged with injury to a child?
Mm-mm.
Injury to a child and tampering with evidence. What in the actual hell, right?
I watched that trial. It made me sick at my stomach when that was what she was charged with. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
No. Oh my God. Like these kids, man. Oh my God. What? And I don't, it's just like the cops were saying, well, we had to have more evidence before we arrest him. Dude, you just
What more
went in there.
evidence did you need?
No shit. I mean, they went in, they found skeletal remains that'd been there for a damn year. 3 kids that had been abandoned. One of them like 10 years old, right? They have to take them out. One of them's been beat the hell out of with a broke jaw. They're all malnourished, starving to death. But that wasn't enough evidence to go to arrest them. No, we're
Our
just going to
justice
question them.
system sucks. Our
Yeah,
justice system
oh
is
boy.
horrible. And
Oh
don't
my,
even get me started on CPS.
oh my God. Like that wasn't, oh yeah, they come on CPS too, but how in the hell was it not enough evidence, okay, going in and seeing this? But obviously that wasn't enough evidence to arrest these 2 bastards. No, they gave them 2 more days before they arrested them. They just released them. I can't even. Oh my good one. Lord have mercy. All right, I better get on with this because yeah, if you ain't already mad enough, it gets worse.
It
So
gets
yeah.
worse.
And right, Mary, this is a skanker right here. Absolutely.
And I'm sorry, I know death row is a very controversial topic, but these 2 both should be on death row for doing this to those poor innocent children.
Well, yeah, like you're fixing to hear these women, man, they get all over her. They're like, look, don't you put them, oh my God, you're disgusting. Stop putting men over your children. Like this chair is taken. That's how these 2 bastards are living, man, off of her disabled children's money. Girl, she even went and she frauded so bad. They moved out because, and you're going to hear that, they moved out because the damn decomposition smell was so bad.
Yeah,
That's
and
why
left the kids there.
oh,
Left the kids there, and they
oh
moved,
my
what was
God.
it, 15 minutes away into a new apartment.
Yeah, on
And
another,
left, yeah.
yeah, and she still got that one free too. She still used her kid's disability and her situation to get that apartment free too. Like what in this hell? But they were paying the electric bill there. No, yeah, but her kids, no, they didn't even have a damn blanket to cover up with, man. They just
No,
had
and that was the
roaches.
year we had a freeze in 2020.
Oh,
We had a freeze here, 2020 or 2021. We had a freeze in February. So can you imagine those poor kids freezing their asses off in that apartment?
oh yeah, starving to death with roaches crawling on them and their baby brother decomposing. My God. Yeah, girl, you can see them. It's Valentine's Day. You can, on this one Valentine's video I'm going to show, you can see the damn fly strips loaded hanging up in the house. You can see air fresheners sitting around because of the decomposition. And they're, oh my God. Okay.
It's disgusting.
I'm just going to shut up and finish this because I get just shaking thinking about this witch and this piece of trash.
How did we get to this? How could you not reach out and just be like, y'all, I've lost control. It's not in a good space. Mm-hmm. And we would have taken all of the kids.
The children had been living with their brother's skeletal remains for nearly a year.
The family says Williams basically was estranged, that they would hear from her on and off. Her number was always different, as well as her address. In fact, they said they didn't even know that the family was staying at this apartment complex because the last time they met them over the summer, it was just the boyfriend who came outside of the apartment complex, a 15-minute drive away.
I seen the news or the news article about the kids, but I never thought it was her.
Christy Smith and everyone sitting on this couch is related to Gloria Williams. The 35-year-old mother of 6 is charged with injury to a child and tampering with evidence, while her 31-year-old boyfriend is facing murder for the death of her 8-year-old son, Kendrick. Harris County deputies say Kendrick was beaten and his corpse was left to decompose for 11 months inside of an apartment the couple abandoned to live elsewhere.
Kendrick was autistic. To my knowledge, when he would come around our family, all he did was smile.
Cousin Yasmin Craig says Kendrick was mostly nonverbal. She says as a family, they offered to raise Kendrick when he was younger, but William refused.
My mom has been asking for Kendrick since the day he was born. All because we knew that all these kids, eventually, she was not going to be able to be the best parent she can be.
Family members say Williams had 6 kids, including the 3 surviving boys who were also living in the apartment, and 2 girls, whom she no longer has parental rights. Melody Robinson has full custody of the youngest daughter and says CPS told her this late last year.
Because Gloria gave up her rights to her and she failed the first child, that they would be going in to take all the other 4 boys.
The family says Williams was estranged, only reaching out for money, always saying the kids were fine.
Anytime we did go help, where the kids at, how they doing? Oh, they in school. Yeah, it was always. So we never had an apartment number. She always be like, okay, I'm gonna meet y'all at the front of the apartments.
Another question so many viewers have been asking, aside from where was extended family, they wanted to know how was Williams able to pay the rent here with these kids living here by themselves. The family members that I spoke with say they believe with disability checks that she was receiving for some of the kids. We do know not only Kendrick had autism, but another one of those 4 boys that was living inside of the apartment complex behind me.
The more we learn about this investigation, the worse it gets. Tonight, we're about to give you an inside look into the lives of this mother and her boyfriend. But first, we have got to warn you, what you're about to hear is upsetting.
Getting high is not for everybody.
These videos and pictures you are seeing are from the public Instagram accounts of Gloria Williams and her boyfriend, Brian Coulter. Scrolling through, they showcase jewelry, food, and he talks about getting drunk or high repeatedly.
I smoke mad weed, I drink mad shit, man, look, I just do my fair share of things.
Investigators with the Harris County Sheriff's Office say the boys were beaten, locked in rooms, and malnourished, forced to live alone in the same apartment with their 8-year-old brother's remains. Court documents say Coulter beat little Kendrick Lee to death in front of 2 of his brothers just before Thanksgiving last year. On Sunday, the 15-year-old, seen blurred here, called 911, and this hell was discovered.
In my long time of working homicides, this one's up there, This one affected.
The apartment was infested with bugs, and the 10-year-old had a broken jaw from about 3 weeks ago that he needs surgery to correct. Investigators also believe that 2 of the boys are on the autism spectrum. As for why the teen waited so long to call 911,
I believe it was absolute fear.
Alief ISD confirms the kids hadn't been in school since May of last year, and there were no CPS investigations open, according to the agency, although they had a history with the family. These kids slipped through the safety net. Investigators say they will play a huge role in this murder case.
Yeah, this is the first time, as you mentioned, that we have seen Brian Coulter since his arrest. And today in that courtroom, the judge formally read aloud that charge, that murder charge. And when asked if he understood, Coulter then repeated that charge as well as the sentence back to her. Now, take a look. This is video from that court appearance today. He is charged with murder in the death of that 8-year-old child whose skeletal remains were found inside of an apartment on Sunday. Now, he also today signed a legal consequences form as part of an emergency protection order. Now, under this order, it states that he is not allowed to have any contact with any of the 3 surviving children in that home. Now, if he were to post bond, part of the bond condition states that he would be under house arrest, be required to wear an ankle monitor. He's also not allowed to have any contact with the co-defendant. That's his girlfriend and the child's mother, Gloria Williams. Now, Williams is charged with injury to a child as well as tampering with evidence. Now, his bond does remain at $1 million, and one of the chief prosecutors with the district attorney's office, Andrea Bell, tells me she believes that this was a respectable bond given the charges and believes it takes community safety into account. Still, she says this case has been very tough on everyone involved.
As one of the chief prosecutors in child fatality, this is the only type of case I deal with. I will say that this particular case is such a gross deviation from what we expect humans to behave like.
My name is Sonia Parker, and I'm the founder of Parents Against Predators, and we're Mothers Against Child Killers. And the reason we're here today, we want to send a strong message out to mothers. Mothers are to protect their children at all costs.
Yes.
And these mothers today are choosing men over their kids.
Yes.
And they're allowing men to kill, molest, rape, bury, cut up, starve their kids. And we're tired, we're hurting. I don't say our mother can lay and sleep. I cannot sleep at night thinking about what happened to little Kendrick and his brothers.
Yes.
It's heartbreaking. And we want justice for them.
Yes.
And seeking the death penalty behind the justice.
Yes.
I'm Jamea Winters. I work alongside Ms. Parker. My take on this is we need justice for Kendrick. I have a child who is autistic. Yes, they can be hard to deal with at times, but they are so lovable, and you have to love them the right way. Killing any child is unacceptable. And I feel like the apartments failed them because when they came to you and told you that there was a smell, you done nothing about it. You failed them kids, and justice needs to be served. Thank you.
You're the next door neighbor?
I'm Alicia Trevis. I'm in Unit 518. We have seen them before. We have encountered. The kids used to play together. They went to school. We didn't know. We didn't know how far or how this was transpired. But I am a mother. I have a 12-year-old daughter, and I have a 6-year-old daughter. To see all this abuse, I've been abused myself. So to see a child beaten because of them being disabled is so wrong. So wrong. I pray that Kendrick Lee gets justice. His family can stay together. By the grace of God, these kids deserve any blessing that comes to them. Please, as mothers, we need to stand together, not separated. The jealousy of women is stupid. 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 Please, somebody speak up for these kids because they did not deserve what that man did to them. Rather, I don't care how much that man made you happy. Those kids came first. Do not, as women, let these men run you to the ground to where you cannot speak. Speak. The First Amendment is.
I have one thing I want to say to CPS. You know, everybody glorifying and clapping for CPS that they got the boys. That's good. But you failed Malia Davis. Don't fail these boys. We want justice for these boys, for Kendrick. We want justice for the other 3 siblings too, because they were beaten too about a stepdad. We really want justice. And I'm asking them for the death penalty. That's what I'm asking. That's why I'm going to court and stand in place for Kendrick as his mother, because a mother take care of their kids. A mother feed their kids. A mother send their kids to school. A mother hug their kids. Grandmothers call their kids and ask them how they doing, how their day went. How did you do at school? Did you do well? Where were the parents? Where were the grandparents? I have 12 grandparents. I call my grandkids every day. How was your day? Birthdays. What about their birthdays? What about holidays? Where were everybody at? This is heartbreaking. This is a lot to deal with. We need justice from the top to the bottom. We need justice. We ask for justice for Kendrick. Cannot stomach what them little boys went through. They didn't have a bed to sleep in. They didn't have food. I sit up and I brushed my teeth this morning asking, did they have toothpaste? No. Did they have tissue? Yes. Did they have who washed their clothes? It's so many questions that I'm asking myself. It's heartbreaking. It's hurtful.
Yes, ma'am.
It got to be better laws when it comes to child killers. They deserve the death penalty. They really do. Yes. But at the end of the day, I can't. This case here is hard. I didn't deal with a lot of cases. This case here is very hard, knowing that the body was in there with the brothers all this time. And I wonder what they was doing, what they was saying. Like, it's hard as I'm a mother. I'm a real mother. Yeah. I care. Yeah. She walked in jail. They asked her, did she want to say anything to her kids? She say anything. I love them. They not my kids, but I love them. That's what's eating me up. What was they doing? Yes. You know, and as the story unfolds every day, it's something different. Like, the boyfriend was going to the apartments beating the kids. So, of course, they were scared. Yes. Of course, you know, but it's bringing in my head, what was they doing? What was they saying when he leave? Was they hugging each other? What was they doing? It's so heartbreaking. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot. Like, I'm taking this real hard for the last 3 days. I've been thinking they didn't have food. They begging for food. And it's just a lot. I know how I feel to be hungry. I'm grown. I know how I feel. But I'll be damned if I ever in my life allow my grandkids to be hungry. Allow my kids to be hungry. Allow the man to come before my kids. That's the problem with the women today. They put the men before their kids.
All our kids used to play together in the field right in front of like our apartments, but we have not seen these kids since like late last year. So around the time they did say that they haven't seen the kids, like around November the 20th, November the 29th, between that time, we have not seen them kids since then. Those kids went to school with my youngest daughter. My youngest daughter is 6. They all went to school together. I don't know what the 15-year-old went to, but I know for sure that one of the kids was at the school right here at HomeQuest. But they said they kept requesting for data, anything that was on the kids from A-Leaf, but the parents never showed any responses, nothing. But it's crazy how you can be 15 minutes from your own kids. 15 minutes from your own kids, and you never wanted to come back and say anything, never wanted to say, God, please forgive me, and if you was a real woman, you would have took them kids out of that situation and left that man where he was.
I'm pissed off, and I did address it with the manager coming out the apartments because she made the statement we couldn't be on the property. Every case of a murdered children here in Houston, I go on the property. So when she said we had to come off the property, I had some words for her. Maybe if you would have paid attention when they called you about the smell, we wouldn't be here. Maybe if you would have paid attention when the residents told them the little boy was sleeping at the park, we wouldn't be here. So if you're just collecting rent money and the housing money, then maybe the apartments need to be shut down because you don't care about the residents. You don't care about the kids here. So that's an ongoing battle with us. We'll be back.
Kendrick was 8 years old. My son is less than 4 months from being 8 years old. And I dropped my son off at school this morning. I gave him an extra long hug and told him I loved him. And then I came this way to pay my respect. We have to do a way better job of protecting our children. This is what's going on in our community. Not a third world country, not another state, not even in another city. This is going on right down the street from my house.
They are words from a 35-year-old mother charged with injury to a child by omission and tampering with evidence, a corpse. From inside the Harris County Jail, KHU 11 News asked her what happened. Williams told us, "I'm sorry, I didn't do it." Her boyfriend, 32-year-old Brian Coulter, is charged with murder for the death of Williams' 8-year-old son, Kendrick Lee. We asked Williams if she knew Lee was dead. She told us no. But according to court documents, investigators say the mom altered, destroyed, and concealed her son's body to get rid of evidence. When we asked Williams why she left the kids alone, she told us, "I checked on them every 2 weeks." But when we questioned her further, she didn't want to elaborate or provide any more answers.
I saw it on the news, but, I didn't think anything of it.
Melody Robinson is one of the paternal grandmothers. She says Williams has a total of 6 kids, ranging in age from 7 to 17. She has custody of one of them, a 13-year-old girl, who she first brought into her home at just 2 weeks old.
Mom was very unstable. She was sleeping on the floor at her grandmother's house with the babies. And so I just asked her to give her to me.
Robinson says she had no idea Kendrick was dead and the children were abandoned. She tells KHOU 11 she saw Williams in November. That's when another one of the children, a 17-year-old girl, wanted to come live with her because of Williams' boyfriend's behavior.
And she just got tired of, seeing him try to abuse her siblings. And when she stepped in to try to protect them, Mom put her out.
Now, the sheriff has commented on this case, saying that it seems too horrific to be real.
As far as we knew, she moved out of that apartment complex because the last place we seen was the other apartments that she and the boyfriend were at.
Yasmin Craig says she's the cousin of Gloria Williams. Craig says the last time that she spoke with Gloria was back in June, and family asked about the children.
You kept saying, okay, they're good, they in school. Anytime we did go help, where the kids at, how they doing? Oh, they in school. The kids deserve justice and they need help. They need the physical and the mental help, yes, to get over this trauma.
A relative of Brian Coulter shared that statement from his parents. They wrote their relationship with Coulter had been distant for years, adding, "This is not who we raised our son to be." Now, we've also learned Coulter was arrested in Luling last November for allegedly being high at a Buc-ee's with a loaded pistol. The city's police chief said Coulter was with Gloria Williams during his arrest, but no kids were present. Harris County authorities believe his arrest happened around the time they say Coulter murdered Kendrick Lee. At the time, Coulter spent 6 days in the Caldwell County Jail before bonding out. He and Williams are now in the Harris County Jail.
Saying Williams was getting government assistance for her abandoned children.
Yeah, prosecutors told the judge that Williams was getting about $2,000 a month in that assistance. They said she was able to rent 2 apartments, one fully furnished, the other to hide her son's body. Prosecutor Andrea Bell told the judge Williams got government checks for 3 of her children. She says that included a daughter who no longer lived with her and 8-year-old Kendrick Lee after he was dead. Family members of Williams' former husband spoke after the hearing.
He loved those kids. He loved them.
Daryl Wayne Towner died in 2019, was not the kid's biological father, and is not linked to this criminal case.
There's no words to express how I feel about what these kids has gone through and what they're going through now.
They did not know Brian Coulter.
This video showing police swarm the car their mother and her boyfriend were in after leaving a library.
Gloria, do you want to say anything to your kids?
Before Gloria Williams and her boyfriend, Brian Coulter, were walked into the Harris County Sheriff's Office Detectives Bureau on October 26th, they were at the Robinson West Chase Neighborhood Library on Willcrest.
Video of Tam News through a public records request shows the couple walk in at 4:42 that afternoon. They go straight to the desk and engage a library employee. Their demeanor casual. Williams even cracks a smile. This is just 2 days after her 15-year-old son called 911 for help, telling deputies that he and his two brothers had been living alone in an Alief area apartment as the body of their 8-year-old brother, Kendrick Lee, rotted away in a bedroom. This library trip, as those children who were rescued from horrific living conditions were in CPS custody.
This is such an egregious case.
On this day, as national interest in the shocking case increased, sources say the couple was at the library searching for news articles about it. Williams walks out holding a piece of paper. They walk to the car where deputies speed in and arrest them without any problems.
Today, ABC 13's Mai Shea has a big update in the case and those who are facing charges in Kendrick's death.
It is such a tragic story every time we hear about. Remember, little Kendrick Lee and, of course, his brothers who have all suffered so much. Today, we learned that the Harris County District Attorney's Office presented the case against Kendrick Lee's mother and her boyfriend in front of a Harris County grand jury. From that first call for help last October, the horrific story of little Kendrick Lee and his brothers broke hearts around the country. The living children continue to suffer abuse and neglect until the oldest child outcried to a neighbor. Williams and Coulter were arrested soon after. And today, another step in the pursuit of justice as both were officially indicted by a grand jury.
Brian Coulter has been indicted for capital murder because it's the intentional and knowing killing of a child under 10. And then Gloria Williams has been indicted on injury to a child, a serious bodily injury, which is a first-degree case, and then tampering with a corpse, which is a second degree.
Tonight, we are revisiting a case that broke all our hearts. 8-year-old Kendrick Lee beaten to death, allegedly at the hands of his mother's boyfriend.
This story, very upsetting, but it is important to understand what happened here and how it can be prevented from happening again. Grace White got her hands on a new report shedding light on how Child Protective Services may have failed this little boy time and time again.
The report details the number of times CPS was called about this family. It goes back to 2015. Assigned child advocates say the system is broken.
They were seeing this family, but they were doing nothing.
In a new 12-page report, CPS outlines a timeline of the agency's involvement leading up to the death of 8-year-old Kendrick Lee. Dr. Bob Sandborn is president and CEO of Children at Risk.
It's completely underfunded and understaffed, and so it manifests itself with the death of a child. These kids are not fine.
The report lays out 9 times CPS launched investigations into the family, but only twice were the allegations confirmed. The first in 2015, CPS found the mother's ex-boyfriend at the time abused a child, leaving marks and bruises from physical discipline. The second, in 2020, CPS found the mother committed medical neglectful supervision after one of her children threatened to take her own life and attack police officers.
If we care about the entirety of our children in our city, we need to start caring about this system. And this is a completely broken system. It has to change, or we're going to have more Kendrick.
Now, I remember just seeing a bunch of people gathered behind that crime scene that night. Now, we knew children were involved, but none of us could have ever imagined the neglect and the torture that these boys had to live through.
And I'm going on law enforcement 10 years now, and I think it's probably the worst scene that I've ever seen.
The little boy's corpse rotting away for an entire year before officers made the discovery on October 24th.
It was a very distinct smell. There was no furniture. There was no lights. There was no electricity. There were roaches everywhere. These children had no beds to sleep on.
The brothers told investigators Kendrick Lee was beaten to death by their mother, Gloria Williams' boyfriend, Brian Coulter. In court, we learned one of the brothers was inside the room while Coulter allegedly beat Kendrick Lee, kicking and punching him repeatedly.
It was disturbing, the position that the child was last in and how long the child had been there.
The boys told investigators their mother moved out with her boyfriend, leaving them to fend for themselves. Investigators say Williams and Coulter were living in a separate apartment 25 minutes away. They'd go back every few weeks to drop off some food, but the boys told investigators that during those trips, Coulter would come and beat them, then leave.
I wish I would have maybe pushed myself a little bit more.
Neighbors I spoke to back in October told me the big brother would leave the apartment occasionally to ask them for food, but he wouldn't say much. Neighbors say they didn't know they were also feeding 2 other boys trapped inside the apartment.
They saw what happened to their brother, and they knew that if they went outside, something bad was going to happen to them.
Investigators say when the boys saw officers, they were relieved, but visibly scared.
They still had that fear in their eyes because they didn't know what was coming next. It's heart-wrenching, and just you hug them back, you have a job to do. You don't want to let them go.
Williams and Coulter were arrested outside of a library 2 days after the boys were found, getting surveillance of the 2 inside, where sources tell us they were looking up news articles of themselves. Coulter has been charged with capital murder. Williams is charged with tampering with evidence and injury to a child.
Because nobody was looking for it. Nobody was looking for that child that had a bruise on him the next day at school, the kid that had a busted lip.
Alief ISD told us the district filed truancy papers against the mother after the children stopped going to school. They even visited the home in September of 2020, but got no answer and never followed up.
How easy is it to, oh, my kid's going to be homeschooled, and that's where it stays, because you just don't have the manpower to follow up on everything.
The Texas Department of Family and Protective Services says the family was in the state system for years. Reports of abuse date back to 2015. CPS tells me the brothers are together now in foster care, where they have access to therapy and counseling. A jury has indicted both Williams and Coulter. Now the case goes to trial, and these investigators wait.
Justice for the children, for Kendrick.
So this is the end of the clips, and I couldn't find a news clip about this, but as you say, it was January the 10th, 2024, and this piece of trash has decided that instead of having a jury trial, he only wants a judge trial, which I don't know. Everyone said it was like such a big deal. Like, wow, I can't believe he's doing that. Are you kidding me? Like, tell me one trial, one person sitting on that jury that would find him the least bit innocent. Like, just imagine having to be a defense attorney, and he's got an appointed attorney, right? So just imagine having to be handed this piece of trash's case, and you have to defend this. Like, I couldn't do it. I've always said I just couldn't be a defense attorney, because most of these cases like this, it is definitely going to be appointed, obviously. But yeah. So that's where we stand with those clips. I know it was hard to look through. I'm also going to pull this stuff up. Nelly, are you still with us, honey? Or no? No. So what do y'all think about that? Doesn't it make you just want to, like, I don't know. Imagine this guy in prison, right? And when he gets in general population, what really pisses me off is Gloria. Are you kidding me? Injury to a child? What? Okay, this has no sound, but I'm just going to play it and take a second to read this because it's true. I just went to their Instagram and grabbed some of the stuff off of it. All of these were taken between October and February. Okay. They didn't move out of that house until March because they couldn't deal with the decomposition smell anymore. So they left and left those kids there to fend for themselves with their little brother. Now I know, and there was a lot of the main legal people that went into this talking about the position that the little Kendrick was put into, the way, he decomposed. After he died, the position he was put into. I didn't look through that report. I don't even know if I want to, because obviously he was put into some awkward position, and that's how he rigor mortis and just decomposed. It was just, how did this trash? They said he covered him with a blanket, but how did he place this baby's body? What did he do? Because it must have been very disturbing. I mean, I have in my head several different things, several different ways he could have positioned that dead baby. But yeah. Oh yeah, he's disgusting. Look at this piece of trash, man. He's doing all of this while that baby is decomposing in a closet. Yeah, he's the definition of garbage, trash, and a waste of air. Yes, he definitely is. Another POS. Couple damaging innocent kids for the rest of their lives. And once again, these kids were failed. Yes, they were. CPS, they had a history with them, but they continued to give these kids back to this skank. Okay, now these people were, as you probably saw in that other thing, they were supposed to have went to court last month, or trial, sentencing, whatever, last month, February. So since he did the jury only trial or the judge only trial, I'm not sure when it's going to be now, but it should be any day. So if you guys happen to see an update about this skank, let me know. I mean, I try to keep all the updates, and when I do get the update, I will let y'all know what happened. But she is charged. It just tears me up that she is only charged with injury to a child. There was more than injury there. Now, the one with the broken jaw, yes, but injury to a child and tampering with evidence, and those evidence being your son. Little Kendrick was nonverbal. She had 3 children with autism. She was collecting money on all of these kids. SNAP benefits. But you know what? You see how they eat. You see that. You see their wine, all their fancy jewelry, even if he bought it off Wish, which I think he did. It doesn't matter. The kids got nothing. Like, I even read in some of the things that this baby was decomposing in the bedroom that the youngest 2 slept in. She would come up once every few weeks and drop them off a bag of ramen noodles and a case of Walmart water. Sometimes some potato chips. And then they would start starving to death, right? After they would ration that out the best they could, because the 15-year-old was trying to take care of his other 2 little brothers. Why didn't he tell anybody sooner? Because he had his little brother to look at to remind him of what would happen to him if he told anybody. Yeah. Yeah. Red Librarian, if you're just getting here, you can, catch the replay. It's all on there. It's a horrible case. Yeah. You just tuned in. It's a hell of a case. And they haven't went to trial yet, haven't been sentenced yet, but it's hard to listen to it. It really is. Yeah, you're seeing all this that they eat. And if you will look closely behind him, look at the fly strips, the loaded fly strips. And I can let you just assume why their houses eat it with flies during the winter. Well, just be prepared. Red, it's hard to listen to. It is. But yeah, there's a reason why those fly strips is in every room of the house. It's because that baby's decomposing. There's also air fresheners sitting all over the house. The spray kind, the Renews It kind, it's all over the house, right? But when they moved out, it ain't their problem. Like, there wasn't even furniture there. There was no electricity there. Nothing. Like, what? And she just left them and went and got another government house for them two to live in. Oh, yeah. Well, keep in mind, Becky, the other 3 children are still there. Like, I took the sound off of this because I cannot stand to hear this. You just have to hear the way he talks. You can't even half-ass understand half of what he says. But you can see in one of these videos, I don't know if I have it on this, but you can see the 15-year-old come in there while she's cooking up these steaks and all that stuff for Valentine's Day. And he says he's hungry. And she said, well, get on in there. This is our Valentine's. And she says, there might be some broccoli and cheese left, but you just have to wait till we get done with ours. Are you kidding me? Like, she's feeding this piece of trash here while her son's decomposing in the bedroom, and telling her oldest son, well, you might have a little broccoli and cheese afterwards. There might be a little bit left. And if there ain't, you ain't supposed to touch nothing in this kitchen. Yet she's buying it with all of her EBT SNAP benefits for her in this piece of trash right here. It's just unbelievable. Yeah, you don't want to hear him. His you'll hear it when you go back. One of the news clips has his voice on there, and he's talking about how he smokes meth and all this other shit. But yeah. Says, yeah, he probably did get that fake ass jewelry off. I think he did. It's either Wish or one of those, like those little, I don't know, those little weird, those little things in the mall where they just set it up, in the center of the mall kind of jazz. Yeah, he's a joke. I hope he has difficulty walking and sitting oh yeah. Like, can you imagine what he's going to go through in prison? Think about it. I mean, he thinks he's a thug. Look at that. That's disgusting. He thinks he's some kind of tough guy, because he's beating and killing and starving kids. And their mom's allowing it, of course, and defending him. Okay, but here's the kicker. And I don't like to bring things like this up, but it's just a fact. And if you know anything about the prison system, either way, it wouldn't matter. But child killers are not very well looked at in prison. But this one is this little thuggy ass, and I hate to say it, but I'm just going to say it like it is. This thuggy ass little white boy that beat and killed a little black boy. You know, and I hope to hell he gets plenty of jailhouse justice for that. Oh, it just infuriates me. Yeah, he's so proud of that damn CEO. What the hell is he a CEO of? Really? What the hell is he a CEO of? Her EBT card? Really? Or maybe the kids' disability checks. Like, something needs to be done, right? Seriously. I don't want to say too much, but I mean, what about her 2 days before they arrested him? All right, if that isn't enough, they're in the library looking up articles on themselves 2 days later when they should have been arrested without a down bond the night they found those kids. The night they found those kids and the little deceased boy. Yeah. You know, the library, they're so broke they got to go there. Really, I don't know the library, but yeah, they were there looking up articles on themselves. So see, I mean, these two could have very well ran for 2 days because they decided, well, we're not going to arrest them. You know, we're just going to have to wait till we get more evidence. I don't know how damn much more evidence they need. They have a decomposed baby that's been dead for a year that he killed. And then a mother that completely abandoned them. One of them, 7 years old. 7 years old. It is. It's hard to hold your tongue. It is. And I have to be careful. Howdy doody gang. He is the least tough. He is disgusting. And just hearing if you hear him talk, you're like, how in the hell does he think he's tough? Like, really? He's so tough, isn't he? Beating up a little kid and murdering a disabled. Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's tough, isn't he? He's a real badass. And his mom, oh, think about her. She's awesome, isn't she? Yeah. You know what? That's why she said she didn't report it, because she was afraid they would take the rest of her kids. Really? Like, you don't see them. You leave them there to starve to death without electricity in a freezing cold weather. Why in the hell would you care if they take them? I'll tell you why you would care if they take them. Because then you would lose the damn money to take care of your skanky ass thug right here. That's why you would hate it. That's why you don't want to lose those kids, is what you can get off of them. I don't know, Vintage. I don't know. I don't think so. But I'm going to find out. And since I'll tell you what, I'm going to get with Harrison County and see if I can get those. Because, yeah, I would like to see those too. I would like to see those interrogation tapes. I think it's probably going to make me want to jump through this. Oh, goodness. Oh, yeah, he is. He is. And honestly, I don't know that there's a damn thing bad enough they could do to him. And it's really going to piss me off when she only gets like time served, right? When she gets time served, and I'm afraid that that might happen. When she finally goes to her court or trial or whatever it is, watch her get time served. Oh, it's pretty pathetic, Becky. They have him in one of the clips we played, which we probably played that part before you got there, but he's talking about smoking meth and stuff. I mean, you can't even understand this joker. Yeah, he's tough. Like, I don't know. Those women, though, that was standing there defending the children and talking about stop putting these men over your children. Man, those women, they hit me right in the gut when they were talking. Like, I felt what they were saying. Like, I could feel it. It was hard to listen to. But they were putting out a message that needed to be heard, and CPS. Look, this is another, not just one child here. Every one of these children were failed again by CPS. Becky says, I'm really afraid that she will not get a long sentence. Me too. Me too. Injury to a child, and tampering with evidence. Like, I don't know. That just sounds wrong. That tampering with evidence. Why not abuse of a corpse at least? But tampering with evidence, and the evidence being her son. I don't know. That's what Minnie Moons, it was tampering with evidence she was charged with, and injury to a child. So his name is, Brian Coulter, Becky. Mary, they didn't during the COVID thing. School got out, and they just never went back. She was just saying she was homeschooling them. CPS did go there. There was complaints, but since nobody opened the door, they just closed the damn case. Yeah, Houston, Texas. Yeah, those women, they put out a strong, I just loved her. And you know what? Of course, I didn't put it in the clips, but she was at every one of these court appearances. She was there, just like she said she would be. And can you imagine how she's going to react when Miss Gloria gets time served? Like, they were supposed to both went to their trials and had their courts and sentencing last month. But I guess it's been put off because it hasn't happened yet. But it should be like any day. It says, yeah, I can't believe they were seen so many times. Yeah, numerous of times. There was so many complaints as well from the school. There was just all kinds of complaints, and they were all just ignored. A petition needs to be started ASAP. Yeah, I agree, because I am afraid. I am totally afraid she's going to get time served. I really am. Yeah, a lot of kids did, Becky. A lot of them did. Another thing, y'all, think about it. That apartment manager was like kicking people out of the apartment complex, right? The reporters, all this, they were kicking them out. Get off the property. You can't be doing this, right? What's the deal? I know those apartments like that have inspections, mandatory inspections, and you don't have the opportunity to say, no, I don't want an inspection, right? But obviously there was none. Why wasn't there an inspection done? Because for a year, these trash had moved. For a year, that baby had been decomposing in that damn house or apartment. So what about the inspections? Yeah, that's what I've heard too. Becky, monthly. I also kind of tried to do a little research on it, and usually it's no more than 3 months, every 3 months. But most of the complexes, it says, is monthly. But yet, this went on a year and there was never an inspection. Okay, it's not supposed to be that way. And then eat up with roaches? No electricity? I'm pretty sure you're supposed to keep electricity too. It's horrific. But anyway, I'm just sick of looking at those two. Ugh. But if you guys hear or happen to hear of any updates in this case, and you get them before I do, please email them to me, or let me know, because I want to keep, I've been following this case. Actually, I have a video on this channel about this case back when it first happened. And I think there might be a little more, there's going to be more information on it probably than what you saw here, because I talked about it. It's like back when it first happened. I think I named it Gloria Williams and Brian Coulter. Yeah, so I do have that video back when it first happened, and I am going to continue to follow this case for sure. So, yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. This was a hard one to listen to. And, it took us, me and Nelly talked about this one, but we decided that it needs to be exposed. And so we did. And YouTube's not going to like it, but Gloria and Brian, I don't care if they like it or not, because I know for a fact it won't be monetized. But you know what? I don't care, because I believe these pieces of trash need to be exposed. And I believe Kendrick and those other 3 kids deserve a voice. They matter. They matter. They matter more than the damn views. They matter more than the clicks. They matter. And as you see, we don't have hardly, go look at the videos. When it comes to cases like this that people really don't know about, unless you are a real true crime guru, or you are one that truly wants to give a voice to these victims that are not so popular. They're not in this. Okay, here's how it is. Rich, beautiful mansions. There's who's going to get the mainstream media. There's who's going to get the worldwide attention, right? There's who never leaves the news. They get movies made about them, documentaries, right? But when these cases, they get some spots in their local news. That's what they get. They freaking matter too. I don't have a big, huge platform, but what I got, I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it. I'm not going to sit here every damn night and do what's because I'll get 10,000 clicks on it. I'm not going to do that. That ain't what it's about. It's about giving them a damn voice. They matter too. Just because they don't live in a mansion, just because they're not beautiful, rich, glorious people, right? They don't get no attention. Well, by God, they will here. Because that ain't what it's about. That ain't what it's about. And I'm sorry, y'all. I got off on a tangent there. That's why it's always good for me to have somebody up here with me, or I will get on these tangents. Not yet. Haven't got it yet. I did end up making me another Facebook, but I haven't set everything up yet, Vintage. But as soon as I do, I'll let everybody know for sure. Well, thank you, Becky. And thank y'all for listening. Thank you for taking the time to sit here tonight. And it's hard to listen to, but I appreciate it. I really do, because Kendrick matters. He matters just as damn much as any of them does. Oh boy, I need to calm down. It was the correct decision. People need to know about cases like this, and it helps raise awareness. Exactly. You know what? See something, say something. And I'm not saying anything against these neighbors. I'm not, because I truly believe they just didn't know. Like that one neighbor said, he never smelled anything. But it's winter, for the most part. But there again, I don't know. Anyways, he didn't. And the roach infestation was so bad, you would think that there would have even been an issue with that, but I guess there wasn't. But still, the inspections, everything in this case, it should have never happened. Like, had they actually done their homework, they would already have seen that this witch already had one government apartment. Why the hell give her another one just because she don't want to sit in this one with her decomposing child? She was sick of the flies and the smell. Oh yeah, I'm interested on what's. I mean that ain't. I didn't mean it that way. I meant like I didn't mean it that way at all. I hope I didn't come through wrong, because that case matters too. I guess what I'm saying is, okay, Gabby Petito, I was huge into that. Y'all know that as well. I was. And I followed it. But let me tell you, Gabby's not the only missing person out there. And her case literally got worldwide attention, blew up, and her parents are amazing. Like, I have so much respect for them. They have done so much to help domestic violence, and I really respect them. But if these other cases could just get a portion of what the pretty people's, what I call them, the pretty people, the rich people, the ones that live in the mansions. Kendrick can't help he didn't live in a mansion, but his life mattered. It's just the way it is. Thank you, Vintage. I appreciate that. And I know it's not as popular, not near as popular, but let me tell you what, and to me, it matters just as much. Every victim matters. Every child matters. No matter how much they got or what they look like, or they all matter. They all matter. Yeah, Delphi. The Delphi case, yeah. Too bad they didn't call. They did help, though. Yeah. A lot of people was putting a lot of heat on the neighbors, but I think the heat needs to damn sure go when they finally do go to court, trial, sentencing, whatever. But I'm going to tell you, if Gloria gets time served, oh my God, I got a good mind just to go to Houston. I don't know. I guess some people don't like to get involved. And I understand that. I do. But there's always anonymous, even if you don't want your name out there, an anonymous tip. But you know what? Even when you do that, half the time, if they don't come to the door, oh well, hell with it. Well, thank you, Becky. I was hoping I didn't. I didn't mean it that way at all. They should try to spread out the media coverage. I agree. And if they don't put the full focus on one case, and look how many we have 24/7 news channels. These cases could take a little spot instead of all the cases bombarding with one case. But, that's what we're here for. That's what social media is here for, right? And I'm going to do my part and the best I can to give them a voice and expose these skanks for what they are. Yeah, Harmony Montgomery, CPS showed up and didn't keep trying to come back. Yeah. Well, look at there's what about Summer Wells? Like, what about her too? Like, CPS was involved with her too, right? They were. But they left them there. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to walk onto that Wells property, especially if you're a social worker that had a call to go there. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to just walk in that house and look at those children and know there's a damn problem. And not only that, look at the parents. But yet, it's a blind eye. But some kids, they will grab in a heartbeat and give the families pure hell to get them back. I know that too. And no, my kids were not grabbed from me, but I'm going to tell you, my grandkids were grabbed from my daughter. And of course, I've got custody of them, but I'm just saying, some of them they'll just grab. But others that have possibly some kind of special needs, maybe autism, slow learners, those kids, they're kind of turned a blind eye to by the CPS. Why is that? Ask Nancy Shaver. I would tell you to ask her, but you can't ask her because she was killed execution style in her living room along with her husband after she threatened to turn CPS in for taking children and using them as commodities to sell. Oh yeah. Adopt out to the state. $6,000 per child. Oh yeah. Nancy Schaefer. And after she said that when she was running for senator and she planned to abolish the damn CPS, her and her husband was killed execution style in their living room. And it was ruled a suicide, a murder-suicide, when they were both shot in the back of the head. But where she messed up was she said it during her campaigning. She talked about how CPS will take children that has no issues, of course. No, Mac J, it's on my channel here. Look it up. CPS, Nancy Schaefer, you can see what she said. And right after she campaigned using that, she was killed, her and her husband. Because she was going to have them abolished if she won senator. She was damn set for CPS to stop grabbing children that they could easily adopt out in the state, because once them children are pulled out of the houses, now believe me, I know, I am a CASA worker. Once those children are pulled out of that house, it used to be 15 months, but now it's 8 months. So if they're in CPS custody for 8 months, they go up on the state website, adoption. Okay, they are adopted out, open adoption. You can just go to their website and, like you're shopping at Walmart, pick a kid. You get to see their genetics. You get to see their parents talk about, you get to see all that. It's like shopping at Walmart, man. And you can adopt these kids and they get $6,000 bonus for every kid they adopt out, thanks to Bill Clinton and the law he signed in 1995. It is basically trafficking. That's exactly what Nancy Schaefer called it. Please, I encourage you, go look at that video on my channel. If one of my mods happens to have the link to it, just throw it in there for everybody. I encourage you to listen to what Nancy said, because it was like the night she said that, doing her campaign, and her husband was murdered in their living room because she was going to abolish the damn thing, because CPS does more harm than it does good for the most part. And think about it, people. Think about it. Do you not see these children that has like special needs, autism, like Summer Wells and her family, little Kendrick here, okay? The ones that has these special needs, well, they're kept with their parents, right? They just leave them there. Think about it. But it's these other kids that, that their health and all is great. They're great students, make A's and B's. They'll grab them kids in a damn minute, and they will give the family pure hell to get them back. It costed me $25,000 in attorneys to get my grandkids. Now, how in the hell is that when I'm a licensed foster parent myself, right? I don't foster kids, but I am, because it was part of what I did. Yeah, they fought me tooth and nail. Why? I don't know. But I'll guarantee you, if one of my granddaughters in here had something like autism, they would have given them to me. No, you know what? They wouldn't have even taken them. That's the kids. That's the kids that need the help, man. That's the ones that need so much, but yet turn a blind eye to them kids, because you can't sell them as commodities. Listen to Nancy Schaefer, y'all. Just listen to her. She says it all. And when you've got a senator that's coming out and saying this in campaigns, you know it's true. You know it's true. There's no denying it. And it also says a hell of a lot that her and her husband was murdered execution style right after she said that. You know why? Because she would have probably won. She would have probably won the Senate, and she would have probably, well, she was the Senate for ever so long. She was just running a different time. Good to bad. Oh, it's horrific. It's horrific. And the damnedest thing is you have no idea how much your government is involved. Like you just have no idea. At the expense of the children. Oh my God, it's just horrific. Government housing is one resident, not two. Yeah, exactly, Minnie Moons, one. But they gave her two. They gave her one to keep her dead son's body hidden in, and gave her another one for her and her boyfriend to live in. It's unbelievable. All right, y'all, I'm going to get off of my rant because you're probably tired of hearing me. And yeah, I encourage you to go to listen to that video on my channel. Hang on, I'll see if I can get the link for you. I should be able to do that real quick because I think it's important. Nancy Schaefer, she was going to change things. She was going to make a difference. But they didn't want no difference made because you know what? Then they wouldn't be able to have any, as Nancy calls them, commodities to sell. Yeah, I'm still looking. Dave, do you know, would you happen to have it, the link to that? It'd be easier for them to find. It's a couple years old. Hang on, y'all. I'll be right back. I'm just sitting here trying to find that because I think it's important for everybody to hear that. CPS needs something done. And it looks like that's never going to happen. Because when one comes out and wants to do something about it, like Nancy did, well, see what happened to Nancy. I'm looking. The majority of my videos is what? Let's see, Brian. I type in Brian and I'm going to get Gabby and Brian. Okay, I found it. Okay, here it is. There you go. And you'll see Nancy Schaefer. All right, everyone. Thank you all for being here tonight. I'm sorry, Nelly. She had probably taken her medicine and she's probably already fell asleep. But I want to thank you all for being here. Thank all the mods, Dave G, as always, Becky, Mac J, all of you. I really appreciate you more than you know. And thank you for taking the time to pop in a live that has like less than 20 people sitting there. A lot of people would say, oh, there's only 20 watching. Not even worth clicking on. But let me tell you, you'll be surprised. These little ones can tell a big story. And they're important. Have a good night, everybody. And I really appreciate all you do for the channel. Have a good night. Thank you so much for watching, and do not forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave us a comment below on your thoughts of this video. And until next time, this is UnJustified.